Hello and welcome everyone. This is Blackadder at Blackadder's Place, and I welcome you to a bit of an unexpected stream, but all the much more interesting as we have finally something that has been talked about at RTS Sanctuary for quite a few weeks already, and it seems to be finally taking place, and that is a grudge match, pretty much probably a bit more than a show match, between Super Mor, which is of course our good old Mor, well at this point yeah, good old probably, and on the other hand it's gonna be SuperAfim. I can already see a bit of a clue in there what this might be actually about here, looking at the Super at the beginning, and well it's gonna be a best of 5 show match for proving well supremacy of one of the players in here. As you have well, there were a few talks about on the discussion board that was a bit weird in there, but nonetheless some kind of graphic glitch. But nonetheless, we are going to be there for having the opportunity to determine who's gonna be the better player. Definitely should be having the Pharaoh a bit more off the path for the villagers. But, well, in case you're of course curious about what we are playing for, well, of course, for the bragging rights and therefore, I guess, flaming rights as well, it's gonna be probably. But much more importantly, the price is that, well, the loser is gonna be having to change their nickname. As for Mor, he's gonna be having to change his name into Afim is my daddy, I think it is, something like that. And if SuperAfim is gonna be losing, he's gonna be having to change his name into Super Alfheim in there. So, yep, that is gonna be right part now for about like a month, I think they were saying. So that's what we are gonna be playing here for. Besides, of course, just the bragging rights, who is gonna be definitely the better player therefore. So, we are gonna be starting on Alfheim, which is kind of like where it kind of started, the whole beef. You can also tell by what I was just mentioning, right? Based on the Super Alfheim nickname that SuperAfim is gonna be having to use potentially if he loses. But well, yeah, we're gonna be starting on that, and then it should be some random maps and probably even some random gods. You're gonna be seeing about that, as they're starting with their main ones, of course. So therefore, it is going to be set right now for SuperAfim. Oh well, he is a main Isis in general, but nonetheless, well, that's mostly kind of like for vanilla. And he has actually played Isis also in other tournaments, in some Titans ones as well, like the Champions League and stuff. But yeah, well, currently he's gonna be there for choosing Setash. Basically, I could choose Chosen God therefore. And of course, Mor is gonna be playing his Oranos. So we are going to be at this point also having quite a decent hand spawn, apparently it looks like. There's a fairly healthy amount of elks on the map. Where is the deer patch on the other side? That's a bit unfortunate, of course, but it is what it is. So you're gonna be having 4 relics, Tusk of the Iron Boar, pretty damn great. It's gonna be very useful somewhere down the line. Then we do have Oseberg Wagon, no talking about useful relics so far. And Veget Eye, also not really bad at all. And the last one we're gonna be having to wait for still. Maybe it's gonna be, oh well, we can actually kinda tell where it's going to be possibly. If you're gonna be seeing the last derelict temple somewhere. But so far I'm not entirely seeing it, so yeah, well, tough to say really at this point where the last one is going to be. So, temple already coming down. You can see, of course, some kind of starting protection for SuperAfim's tower next to the gold mine, which is definitely a bit forward. But looking at the towers, how they actually spawned quite a bit funny. Like really, this one is a funny tower considering, so it's just gonna be a pretty safe gold for him in general. So on the other side of the map for Mori, well, yeah, of course not gonna be having any kind of problem with the gold mine whatsoever. That's gonna be all quite a bit fine. So, for example, even the back TC is in a great position. For the extra gold mines for him, he's gonna be having something to fight for, of course, here in the front. Oh, well, he doesn't have a TC in there, so probably gonna have to right now. No, it's kind of funny actually, because this is also a fairly open TC in general. It's a very rare spawn for Alfheim to be having such an open one. I can say nice same-ish advances. Would be assuming some second TC from the Ptah, but nonetheless, we'll see. As nonetheless, if this town center is gonna be under power of Super Moriror rather, not Mirror, then he's gonna be right now having good gold mine number 1. Second is gonna be also quite a bit fine. And all things considered, he's gonna be probably able to take even the Wolfinos here. I mean, like the hit points are not the greatest, but should be able to manage with the villager. I think it should be definitely playable for him in total. But otherwise, you can see it now. Seems like no extra gold mine here in the corner next to the TC at the back. For the opponent, he's gonna be having some funny hidden TC here and a few animals to convert. Can say it now, they can 60 seconds, but that's the maximum here. It can be lower. Not entirely certain what's the minimum, but on the advanced tooltips is the maximum time it can be taken. As this is actually fairly cool TC here for SuperAfim, because he can be therefore then getting this gold mine very easy to protect with some walls. So this is actually fairly easy for him to play, as the TC of course coming up, as we expected. No one for more, that's gonna be curious to see. He's gonna be of course seeing that, but he really doesn't have that much of a chance to block it in any kind of way. By the way, this is still on 5-0, so therefore villages can be shockwaved, but obviously against the set with the animals and whatnot, not much of a reason for that. There's not gonna be any kind of hope for that to be in any kind of way really successful. As well, in the base, you can say it about now 1. So far, interesting again. Oh, that's very interesting actually though. Okay, I'm just gonna be looking around the map, skipping over, just in case there's something I missed. Apparently not so much. Just of course right now the oracles are not gonna be entirely all that relevant and important for the time being. Yep. As I can say it now, therefore, yeah, seems to be right about now sticking only with 1 counter barracks into a few turmas. And turmei rather. I need to be right now getting used to it, because the proper plural is turmei, as in E in the end instead of S, because it's a foreign word, and a Greek one at that. Oh, kind of Greek one. It's from the Byzantine Empire, our turma. It's a military concept. So of course, based on the only 1 military building, we knew what's going to be coming. Second TC as well currently for more, and it's actually a fairly interesting build-up so far. Like, most of the time, you're gonna be seeing the Oranos taking either basically like straight Archaic against a set. I think it need to be quite a bit risky, so I can understand his advance this way. Maybe you could be thinking that going for 4 minutes would have been also an option for him. But well, he has chosen this way, and therefore of course TC not to be falling behind, or like he's gonna be falling behind on economy as an Atlantean against Eggy too much. But nonetheless, it's gonna be at least of course heading into more of a like maybe equalized situation on that growth of the echo, and therefore we also gonna be most probably expecting some kind of decentish heroic age therefore for Mr. Mor. So that's gonna be a villager, alright. It's a lot of, by the way, berries here on the Alfheim. Also Bergwagen, very important that it's coming for Mor, as opposed to the Eggy, as of course in his hands that would be quite a bit of a pain. More, it's gonna be really nice also for the Atlantean, but really more of a reason to pick it up is the Eggy just cannot get his hands on such something like that. It had to be absolutely terrifyingly terrible. As of course the volley unfortunately didn't get properly finished. He wasn't checking that out. Maybe he thought it's alright, but yeah, well, that's of course what happens if you're gonna be using hotkey for the gates. Sometimes you're gonna be forgetting and not noticing properly. As the farms, I'm kinda thinking one doesn't actually fit here. He might have kinda messed himself up slightly. Here definitely fits, but there I'm thinking not. So maybe that's gonna be slight inefficiency, but probably something really small. With something new coming up, so far not, it seems like. So nothing getting researched currently. So you're gonna be having the pop limit no logically for the Atlantean. As you're getting ready for the trap. And well, he's already kinda heading in, just so that he's familiar with that, I guess. And okay, that was not sure what it was. Maybe blacksmith, I guess. Making sense probably. So nonetheless, he's gonna be trying to destroy the tower, but with Turmas that's gonna be, or Turmei, again, it's gonna be hard for me to get rid of. But nonetheless, yeah, that's gonna be taking about 2 million years, so not entirely too useful. And at the same time, there's not any kind of scary army he's gonna be having to teleport in there with the shifting and SuperAfim, so don't really think there's too much of a problem in that. So next relic is gonna be also coming home. We are gonna be bringing back, that's the last one we didn't see, Cheaper Temple upgrades. That's actually fairly useful as well. Like seriously, he's already having also, what was the other one? Oh, the Veget Eye. Yeah, that's gonna be good. I kind of wonder what he's gonna be playing into the Heroic Age, to be honest, if it's gonna be classic Thea. Or if he's gonna be heading into Hyperion. I mean, like, they are gonna be, of course, there's gonna be Nephthys from the other side. I guess you can probably make an argument for both, but Nephthys is gonna be better. I will be maybe actually kinda guessing Hyperion a bit more than the Thea, but who knows. What Mor is gonna be exactly having prepared in his mind. This was quite a bit of a, kinda like, probably highly prepared show match, especially I'm thinking from Mor. I'm entirely certain if SuperAfim was putting as much of an attention to it as Mor, but yeah, well, Mor definitely has a lot to prove here. And, well, not entirely certain if you'll be wanting to be wearing a nickname of, well, Super, or the Afim is your daddy. Maybe if it could be actually resulting into, yeah, I'm thinking they should have actually added a condition in there. Because well, if there's gonna be like a month when they have to be using different nickname, it also should be kind of like stipulating that they have to be actually playing under that nickname. So, of course, I'm not expecting they will be like smurfing, but well, maybe just some kind of holiday could be taken up in case the nickname is gonna be overtaken. So, yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping they're gonna be gentlemanly about that if they already about now prepared it. Hoping so, definitely. No, nonetheless, that's gonna be right about now attempt on the very important TC here currently for Mor. That's a lot of army actually coming for him though. He's gonna be very unhappy because also, for example, Shifting Sands can be also making this a lot worse. Even though he does have at least some... see a surprising army of Murmis. No, Villager is gonna be at this point mobbed, unfortunately, so she... Excuse me... I would have definitely wanted to finish with her. He didn't need to be actually even everything there, but I'll be probably even villagers to murder her. The army coming back, I understand the Axemen against the Murmilos, but leaving that villager there? Yeah, not sure. Okay, that's gonna be the Shukwabe coming forward, helping out at least a bit, and seems to be quite decent. I'm actually a bit surprised that we, for example, did not see the Pharaoh helping here. I mean, like, he's having pretty high DPS in general, so he's great in the fight, but at the same time, maybe could be helping with the TC there a bit earlier. But whatever the case, let's gonna wait now this one done. And is he gonna be immediately taking that? Not immediately necessarily. I'm still kinda thinking this should have been dead. Especially since it's a citizen hero, so quite a bit valuable in there. So we have apparently the button already locked. The army away, didn't entirely show that even, but I can see right now that's already plenty turmas destroyed here. But like 3, it's probably gonna be 1 this one. Sometimes the graphics are a bit funny on that, on Turmai specifically. So yeah, that's gonna be there for TC taken. No, and definitely complications for Mr. Mor. Though, Shaftmine coming forward, resources... Depends, he's gonna be having to switch to farms now. Yeah. Doesn't entirely have that much wood for that, because he's also right now expanding into Cairo Balliste. Since he has to be, of course, countering the Axemen from the enemy. Double and double, alright. Of course, with the extra economy that he has, that's gonna be quite a bit alright. With Bowsaw, that's actually a fairly nice economical line at this point for him. Whereas for SuperAfim, he's gonna be at only, interestingly, Jesus Christ, Bowsaw, plow, but not actually a pickaxe. It's very curious. Very curious in the ad. But nonetheless, you can say it now, Murmilos, and neither are the Axemen right but now upgraded into mediums yet. This is gonna be also quite nicely solving the gold for SuperAfim. That's gonna be a super easy one for him currently. That's gonna be kind of also working with the one in the middle. So far, actually, pretty decent defenses by SuperAfim. Yeah. Kinda liking that, how he's actually prepared this map. It's gonna be hard for the opponent to raid. And of course, at this point, it's gonna be also forcing more into this TC, which still will be giving him good gold. Mine on the left, these are a bit sketchier, but maybe some access to the trade route, possibly. And that's also why I'm liking right now the wall in here to the south. So that's gonna be... I mean, like, at this point, the wall in is gonna be important to block the trade from SuperAfim. He's gonna be wanting to set it up somewhere here. Into this TC. Because to the top, well, at this point should be logically blocked by SuperAfim. Or Super... I'm gonna be confused by the Super on both. So my brain is gonna be... Yeah, I'm not entirely working well towards that. Because of course it's gonna be seen Super, and already it's gonna be trying to fill the rest of it for a bit more of a normal casting, a bit more of a fluent one. And nope, this is patch 5.0 still. They are having a grudge match on 5.0. And, I mean, like, that's kind of where they're trying to prove the point. So, of course, making sense for them overall and in general. With SuperAfim, full pop, can see on the wheel. That's gonna be same for Mor. But currently at 14 minutes, seems like we might be having actually the Heroic Age. Yeah, practically already done. SuperAfim is gonna be taking it longer. Maybe actually a bit surprised he has really taken the Thea here. I wonder if there's gonna be some kind of attempt to go into cavalry. I do slightly wonder about that, if there's gonna be a hope for the... not Hetairoi, but rather Kontari. Rather the Kontari, as that's kind of just some kind of... yeah, medium slinger army, so it's not gonna be entirely incredibly dangerous, but it's gonna be still quite a bit annoying. Because obviously they're gonna be still quite nice bodies into the fight, and not entirely that expensive. That's how it usually works, of course, with the barracks units. Now, and the Kirobalistae are so far not entirely working as superbly. Of course, they are not entirely bad, as we do have some nature mercenaries coming forward. So basically just cost only gold. So that's practically something very similar as a concept. No, and that's gonna be, of course, the Neftis coming forward. But of course, the battle for this TC is fairly important for the whole progress of the game. Something else getting researched. Copper Mail, interesting for SuperAfim. Liking right about now the Vegetaros, almost kinda brings me back. Again, I've mentioned it very often lately, the game between Chrono JJ and Vagabond Line from the olden days that I have on YouTube, but it's really just like a special game, to be honest. Really quite a bit special indeed, in general. But nonetheless, we are gonna be at this point having quite a good work with them, of course. They are not really expensive. Not entirely at much favor, can trade now 50 and 150 wood, so easy to get if you're already gonna be going for the slingers and you are therefore a bit heavier on wood. As the Iggy here, in general. Seems to be at this point slightly turning into Mor's favor, but of course right now there's gonna be still fight about the TC, no, and with the Stimfal Embers coming up, and it's gonna be of course a bit easy, but of course immediate ancestors, kind of course, there we go, and we don't really have any kind of counter god power for that. For more, so he's gonna be having to right about now rethink that, and no, not sure if I would be that optimistic he's gonna be able to take it SuperAfim, but nonetheless it is still quite a bit interesting. Let's maybe look a bit more south for the development, but doesn't seem like there's anything else going on, so let's maybe center the screen about this way approximately, so you're gonna be seeing most of it, both TC and the battlefield to the south, as the town center will be hard without empowerment. Where is the Pharaoh? Probably dead somewhere, I guess. Yeah, we're probably waiting for respawn at this point, I'm assuming. Well, of course, plenty of priests at this point already up, even though they don't have too many upgrades yet. We are going to be alright now pulling down the Barados, and therefore it seems like that maybe the town center is actually going to be even taken. Now having Murmilanos, that's gonna be something to maybe put a wrench into that plan. Oh well, that's a lot of food for SuperAfim, surprisingly high. It's actually overdone echo, it seems like a bit, on the food, that is. That's really very uncommon for Egyptian to be so heavy on food in there. But whatever the case, that's gonna be at this point meaning that the town center will be actually in the end getting finished. And hey Nimorom, SuperAfim is no new player. He's, wouldn't want to say old schooler, but kinda like older schooler. But he's a vanilla player, originally. He has played, basically top level vanilla player, something like Shadowfax. He hasn't entirely played Titans as much over the years. He has played a lot of it, like recently in the past few years. He has also participated in some Titans tournaments, like the Champions League and stuff. But yeah, he is definitely a lot more pronounced in vanilla. He has been playing plenty of the AOL Destroyers tournaments over the past years. And that is where he shines. You have definitely some games of him on YouTube as well, from those set tournaments. But yeah, he definitely is putting a lot more attention into Titans lately, so that he can be also participating in tourneys. Now, of course, right about now the mercenaries coming forward, that's gonna be quite a bit of a huge pain, and therefore, of course, even though the Stimfalians were cheaper, they're gonna be at this point kind of dying like flies. And with the Mythical Age coming up, we are going to be, of course, having even the Tartarian Gate on the other side, which created a few problems on the population limit in there for SuperAfim. There were houses around the tower. And yeah, this is gonna be some kind of slight challenge at least. As all the way to the south, we have quite nice little raiding that it seems like it unfortunately Mor is not really noticing. Only now, after the death. Yeah, I'm kinda hitting only the one. No, nonetheless, he's gonna be at this point definitely behind, and it also looks like that therefore SuperAfim is gonna be getting a bit closer towards the Mythical Age. Second level of upgrades for Mor, which is kinda nice. Even though we are at 80 minutes already, but it seems like he's gonna be kinda barely able to hold on. Definitely quite nice pressure by SuperAfim. Can say now 150 against 105. And there is some kind of red Willy here. Second level, interesting, the farmland upgrade is not there. Yeah, well, he probably kind of figured I'm having plenty of food, I don't need it, but that's always a faulty imagination, kind of like faulty way to think about it, because you need to be thinking of the way you get the upgrade, you get more efficiency, so therefore even more villages can be moved away from farms into other resources. So you should be kind of thinking about it a lot more about like a general improvement into the economy, not only on the resource you are missing. Unless you are gonna be needing that resource, but if you don't, if you're having surplus, it's still a great help to economy overall. No, and we are gonna be at this point, therefore, having an opportunity for quite a few deaths of the villages, but that's gonna be really a problem on the gold at this point for Mor, because unfortunately he also hasn't started with a trade. Seems to be having like maybe manor to the south, probably not a market, but yeah, he's really kinda at this point messed up. As without the gold for too long, no, well, Atlanteans do not have anything to make. Even the Stinfalamberts are costing, of course, gold, plates as well. So, nothing good. If he were Hyperion, he could be getting some satyrs maybe. But nonetheless, because they cost wood, right, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, that is gonna be there for the first game on the famed Alfheim, going into SuperAfim's pocket. And he's gonna be now coming up into 1-0 lead, but it is a best of 5, so still plenty of things at this point coming up. So we are going to be at this point having a look into then the next part, which is going to be something like, should be like random maps and maybe even random gods. Thinking they were agreeing to something along those lines in there. Second level still, can see it now on the other side. I was able to ignore even the Tartarian gate as if nothing was going on. And military-wise, medium axeman with double Copperino. That's some kind of unit. There's an Arcus. Can say it, but now also bronze and copper. So not too deep, but well played by SuperAfim. And actually fairly solid control from the start. As you can see on the resources, some kind of 17 hundo. That's gonna be 8.5, 9.5, 10-2, 10-2 and 13, 10-5, 11,500 resources more for Mor than for SuperAfim, and Jesus Christ, wasn't that entirely felt in the battle. Okay, so that was well played here. Didn't even need to be going, the Wedges I really enjoyed, didn't even need to be going into anything like a priest siege too much. Some loss of villages, but legit didn't care. And even didn't get the mythic, but still enough. GG.